All right, guys, welcome back to Sweetwater Acres. It's gonna be a really quick video today. Hopefully you guys like the turkey hunting video. It's beautiful weather, as you can tell. Tank top, sunglasses, 80 degrees today. If you can hear, I'm not sure if you can, the purple martins are out. Finally got those guys to come back. That might be another video, actually. That's a project I've been working on. The starlings pretty much took over that whole, I don't know if you can see it up there. The whole purple martin box was overcome by starlings, so it's been a project of mine to try to get them out of there and get the purple martins back, and they're back. So I'm pretty pumped, and hopefully I can keep the starlings out of there. But today, quick video on getting your hens unbroody, because I have a bunch of them in here. Walk into the coop and look at this broody hen in there. Broody hen number 1, broody hen number 2, broody hen number 3, broody hen number 4, broody hen number 5, broody hen, number 6. So I've got 6 hens in here that are broody. And that is a bad thing for 2 reasons. Because I'm not trying to hatch out eggs, obviously. But reason number 1 is they are no longer laying eggs, so I'm getting less eggs per week from my chickens. And 2, as you can see here, since they are taking up so many of the egg boxes, the nesting boxes over there, my hens now don't know where, and ducks don't know where to lay their eggs. So now I am just finding random eggs around the floor and even out in the chicken run itself. So we need to get these guys unbroody, and I'm going to show you how I do it. It can be a little different if people have a different setup. With my setup, I don't have what people would call like a quarantine set-aside pen yet, so I have to create my own. So I'll show you how I do that. There. So when I was bringing in the ducklings, I had a smaller version of this crate. I love them. Can't have too many of them on a farm. Really good for small animals, poultry, anything you can shove in there, transport them around, give it a separate little isolation or quarantine pen if need be. Brooders, outdoor brooders, I like them a lot. You can usually find them pretty cheap garage sales, just on the corners of streets and stuff. People get rid of them all the time, and actually the worse they are, the better, so then you don't feel bad about getting them even more destroyed with chicken poop and all that stuff. But I love these things. I have the dog crate back out. This is the extra large one because I've got so many hens in there. As you can see, I've got 2 sticks that I run across there just for little roosting bars, just because I know I'm going to have so many in here. Give them a little bit extra space to get up and get out of the way. So I'm going to put in a water. Obviously, going to need to have water in here. It is getting hot, so I am worried about them overheating in here now that they can't get outside in the breeze. And then I'm going to put in a small tray feeder and hope that it doesn't get too dirty. And then I got to get all these girls and put them in there so they can get out of that habit of wanting to sit on eggs. She's a really broody one. This one's kind of mean, actually, so mean when she's broody. She's a really nice hen, but as soon as she goes broody, yeah, she gets a little feisty. Yeah, I know. You get feisty. You protect your eggs good. So there goes that one. Get them in there. And we'll grab the rest of these guys quick. And that's one thing I hate about these. The one bad thing about having them in here is a lot of times the chickens will get up there and then poop down on them. And that's never fun. All right, guys, so as you can see, they're pretty packed in there. It's probably one or two more than I'd like to have in there at this point in time, but I'm not sure I'm gonna have enough room for another. I do have enough room for another kennel, but I don't know if I want to go through all of that. This keeps them on their feet more, actually, and I think it'll make them snap out of that broodiness even quicker. But if someone were to have like an isolation pen, you know, people call them a quarantine pen, something like that, or just another setup, you know, even a chicken tractor, things like that, where you could put them in where there's no nesting boxes where they have to be on their feet, kind of breaking that cycle of going and sitting on eggs, especially these are getting pulled from them every day. So they're never actually getting the chance to hatch out their chicks. So they just keep sitting and keep sitting and keep sitting. It's not good for their health, obviously not good for me with egg collection, and it's not good for all my other chickens and ducks who are trying to get into those nest boxes. And as you can see, some of them are pretty mean. So those other hens try to get in there and they get run right out. So then they just start laying eggs wherever they can find a spot, I guess. Because I'm finding duck eggs everywhere, I'm finding chicken eggs everywhere. And it's just, I just need to get these guys on broody. And the more, and there is one thing too, if you have one hen go broody, the other hens will see that hen sitting on eggs and it just triggers something inside of them. Not sure what it is, but it triggers them to then go broody and sit on eggs too. So the more hens you have going broody, it's just a snowball effect. It's just going to be more and more and more hens that get that feeling to be like, oh, she's sitting on eggs, I need to sit on eggs. And we can't have that right now. If I were wanting to hatch out a few chicks, wouldn't mind it, put a couple eggs under them. But since there's so many of them, and now I'm down 6 eggs, you know, roughly every other day, getting 6 eggs from these guys. That adds up. So I need them back into egg production as quick as we can. So that's what we're doing here. And they should be all right. I'm not too worried about them. They're pretty good. They got a couple roost bars to get up out of the way, like you see they're doing. Adds a little bit more square footage to this, and they're not always all having to be on the ground. A couple of them can get up there, get away from the other guys, get some separation. And another thing is we had another duck show up here. Not show up, it was given to us. A neighbor of ours unfortunately had like a fox or a raccoon or a coyote dig underneath their coop, get into the run, kill a bunch of chickens and ducks. Pretty much killed all of their ducks except one. And he's been driving by here, him and his kid, and they see our ducks out here and they're like, we have one duck left, she's super lonely. She just walks around the exterior of our chicken yard and she's looking for her buddies. We don't have any more buddies. Can we bring her and drop her off? Because she's a pekin. If you don't know, pekins are white ducks. They're more of a meat bird, not really an egg-laying duck. We usually prioritize more egg-laying ducks here. But she's a little bit older. She's a pekin. We have some white layers. They're kind of the same, but as you can tell, if you can see, that's her right there. She's built a little bit different than our the three white layers are in the back. The pekin is right here in the front. And they've just been calling her Mama Duck, so that's what we're gonna call her. So she's been a little addition here recently. We were super happy to help this guy, you know, get her some company and get her off their hands. They didn't have any ducklings. They weren't planning on getting any more ducklings. So there she is. She's part of Sweetwater Acres now. But yeah, guys, that's how I get hens unbroody. It can be a pain, especially if you're not wanting them to go broody. Purple martins are up there. Hear them? There he is. Super cool, love them. They eat a lot of bugs. Love having them around. We actually have a full house here when it comes to our kennel building. And I'll show you quick. It's Memorial Day weekend, if I didn't say that already. So we're boarding a lot of dogs for friends and family. So I'll quickly show this. I got a cattle fan in here going. We'll show you. And then we got our two. Alrighty, it has been 48 hours since we put those chickens in the dog crate and kind of quarantined them, those broody hens. So we're gonna see how well it's been going. This morning I actually, so having 6 hens in a small area, after a while they get a little rammy. They don't like being that crammed together. They start picking on each other. That was starting to happen. It's not probably the nicest thing, but it helps me because the more they're kind of flustered at each other, the quicker they forget about being broody and wanting to lay on eggs. So I actually thinned out the kennel this morning, that crate, and released some of them. I had to put one back in because literally within a minute of me letting her out, she was back in a box trying to lay on eggs again. So I put her back in there. So I think we're down to 3 in there right now. Let's see how the rest of the girls are doing. The ones that I kicked out of there, hopefully they are no longer broody. And so far, let's see here. So here are the 3 that we still have in there. As you can see, she is super broody. She is acting like she has eggs and chicks underneath her. The other 2, the black copper Moran is the one that hopped back in the box. I thought she was done being broody, but within a minute of me letting her out, she was back in a box. And this Buff Orpington always goes broody. That's kind of their breed. But so far, we've got none of the usual culprits in here still. So that's good. It worked. The ones that have been in here are no longer. I still have random eggs all over the ground here. Look out. So that's fun. Hopefully they start laying back in the boxes again, so I don't have to keep trying to chase down eggs all the time. But put these in here without cracking them. So that's good. That's worked. That is a very, let me get out of there so you guys can hear. But that's great. I love seeing that. Those other 3 now have more space in that kennel to kind of work through their broodiness. And the hens that I kicked out this morning seem to be staying out of the nest boxes. So that, it's working, guys. That is a very cheap way. You can find those kennels all over Facebook Marketplace, all over, just drive around a city. Usually they're in a garage sale, or they're just, people just put them out on the corner with a free sign. Grab them. The worse the better, because then you don't feel bad making them even dirtier, putting them in a chicken coop like that. But that's a super effective and cheap way to get yourself kind of your own little quarantine isolation pen to kind of help either sick chickens or broody hens. If you're raising young poults that you're putting into your coop, it's just a really cheap and easy way to isolate and separate hens and ducks and anything else that you have. So that is my tip on how to get hens unbroody. So follow along, guys. That new member of Sweetwater Acres or Sweetwater Kennels should be on the next video. So look forward to seeing you on that one. Take it easy.